Ha ha ha. Looks like the Lyft driver was about that life and kind of gave him a little pop pop in broad daylight. Check it, people. Fair use.
Shot at two men attempting to take his car in one of the city's latest attempted carjackings. Steve Keeley live in Center City with more. These guys got more than they bargained for. Good morning.
Yeah, this is when you always hear that TV news awful cliche, he turned the tables, right? Well, a lot of viewers always remind us that he turned it for the good, right? So here is the first scene. We had three different scenes here. And this, let me remind you, is after 2 o'clock in the afternoon, right across from Fairmount Park, right as people are outside. So there's witnesses at all the scenes. And it's hard to believe that this is the brazenness of these carjackers. And these two guys in the 20s intentionally rear-end this Infinity. That's the thing that's happening right now. They bump you to make you stop and get out. And they do it right in front of people, so they don't even care. And this Infinity driver has a woman passenger in his back seat, and it takes two bumps from him to say, hey, what's going on? And when he gets out, the passenger in a Honda gets out with an automatic rifle and points it at him, again, in front of witnesses. And he gets out with his hands up and says, hey, you can have my car, but let me get this lady out. I'm a Lyft driver. Let me get her out because you don't want to take her and have a kidnapping. So they let him get her out of there, and then he waits for the carjacker to get into his car. Then he pulls his gun, and he has a concealed carry permit because you would think every Lyft driver and Uber driver who doesn't want to die on the job would have that as well. Here's the second scene. This is where his car ends up just about 2 blocks away. And look at the bullet holes. He blows the driver through the window, through the door handle, through the door frame, hits that guy at least twice in the torso. And that guy stops just 3 blocks away, right on Parkside Avenue, right at Fairmount Park, and falls out of the driver's side. And people call police thinking, hey, there's a shooting victim here. Meantime, he then turns to the Honda and shoots that driver through the passenger side of that.
Good.
That guy makes it 2 blocks in the opposite direction after making a U-turn, and he collapses at Lancaster and 43rd Street. And then some more people call cops there. Meanwhile, he calls the police with his female passenger and witnesses who tell police the whole story. And they realize these two guys that they rushed to the hospital are now not victims, but prisoners.
This 38-year-old Lyft driver, after being rear-ended and carjacked, he pulled his weapon and fired shots at both vehicles. The vehicle that was stolen from him fired shots at the Honda. The driver, who had the getaway car, struck both of these individuals, and now they're both at the hospital as prisoners. Very dangerous situation. Fortunately, our Lyft driver, our victim, wasn't shot because he had a rifle put to him, and our Lyft driver had a weapon that he used, and he shot both of the perpetrators.
So this case again illustrates why so many delivery drivers, food delivery drivers, pizza drivers, Uber and Lyft drivers are all running to gun stores and getting legal guns. Because this is what's happening on a daily basis all around the country and a lot of times here in Philadelphia. Bill, the other thing that you may want to get into is the armored car and tank business, because I'm sure a lot of delivery drivers and Uber drivers would like to be in a tank with a gun turret to keep themselves safe. But here's the other thing. What are you going to do now? You're driving around and you get rear-ended. Are you supposed to leave the scene of an accident and worry about getting a ticket, or have your car damaged by somebody who was maybe on their phone and rear-ended you? Because now the first thought, if you hear stories like this repeatedly, is that, oh my God, I'm getting carjacked. I don't want to stop here even though I've been rammed from behind. So that's the other quandary right now. Everybody watching is thinking, like, what do I do if I'm rear-ended? Because this is happening right in the middle after the afternoon, like yesterday, right on Parkside. Police had so many witnesses at all the events at all 3 locations because this is right in the daytime, and people thinking, I got an accident victim here, or I have 2 shooting victims, let me help. Little do they know, it's 2 armed carjackers. They found that rifle that the guy had after he collapsed out of the car inside the Infinity.
It's interesting too, Steve, because as you pointed out, that's what they tell you to do. Like, go to a populated area to make sure that everything is okay. And these guys are doing it in front of a group of witnesses.
Yep. So it looks like the Lyft was about that life. Excellent. Dusties don't want a job, but they will rob. I say, man, if it gets to an accident, just go ahead and call the police. Call the cops. Watch and see what the other person does first. Don't just hop out. We had this conversation before, months ago. But Dusty's, they don't want a job, but they will rob. But the tables was turned. So it looks like the Lyft driver was about that life. Gave him a little shot. They can go night night in the jail. The tables were turned finally. Anybody doing one of these jobs, that is something for you to definitely consider. CCW. And it's sad to have to do this. But he was very smart and to say, hey, I've got a passenger here. You don't want kidnapping charges. Let me get you. He did the right thing. Two fools, two dangerous Dusties off the street. He did the right thing. This may not work for everybody. The guy was, in my opinion, taking a chance. I'm just glad it worked out in his favor. The car, he can get that repaired. You got glass out. But again, Dusties bring drama. Dusties bring trauma. The financial implication is too much dust in the nation. So now you see it's cold upstate. He got to get some glass repair, maybe a little body work. Might be a deductible. And you never know about these insurance companies. They get a hold of this right here on the news. I'll do a different video. It's business. They're not your friends. It's business. But see what Dusty's bring? They don't want a job, but they will rob. So now, not only did they get shot, that little raggedy ass Honda that they were driving in, and it might be stolen or it might be their mammies or their girlfriends. But the little robbery vehicle that they put their little feet in, stop and think. I had no sympathy for them. They got dressed, they got out of their bed, they got dressed, put clothes on, they hopped in that vehicle, guaranteed with this plan. But can't come up with a plan to try to do the right thing, maybe try to find a job, start a little business, a side hustle. You can go get your ass and wash some cars. So I've seen they have places like that. You think it's like a drive up? No, it's like there are people working here and they're just washing the cars manually. I respect that than somebody sitting up trying to rob. They don't want to do that. They want to quit something quick. Get the car to the chop shop, get me some money, and I'm done. They don't want a job, but they will definitely rob. So now they're sitting up, then got. Again, Lyft driver, I applaud you. Everybody can't make this move. And now they are where they belong, locked up. So yeah, the Lyft driver was about that life. They got what they got. Night, night.